Mr. Dubey, would you want to come in here? Why would the government want to invade our privacy and read our messages? हर चीज national security के नाम पे तो आप नहीं दे सकते ना. In this case also national security is the government's trump card.
Shreya, privacy is not absolute right, but is subject to reasonable restrictions. One of the most important judgment of 9 judges of Honorable Supreme Court, which laid down that the privacy is a fundamental right. But there are 4 tests to that judgment. 1, such an act of interference by the government must be sanctioned by the law. Point to be noted. So it has twofold. First, the reasonable restrictions that can be put on the exercise of privacy as a fundamental right, such as the national interest specifically, or where there is a threat to the sovereignty of India, public order, decency, or the provisions as has been passed by the Parliament, the Intermediary Guidelines 2021, which says the originator of the masses, his name should be disclosed because of the investigation of some matter. Now, 2, the law should be backed by a legitimate and reasonable state interest so as to provide unnecessarily a state interference. So that is what is required, that there has to be a legal sanction for tracking out or for receiving some messages. Now, what is going on before the High Court? The WhatsApp says that, look, I have a right to privacy. I want to do business in your country. I am not an Indian company. I don't want to give tax to India. But I will cite example of right to privacy, and therefore I am not amenable to Intermediary Guidelines 2021. Then the safe harbor field, which is given under the information technology sector, also is not available. Only thing is, right to privacy is absolute right, provided there is no violation of the law. What is the government is saying, what High Court has also agreed. You remember 2 years back, the same message came, the Facebook, Twitter, and the Bangalore High Court, Delhi High Court, all have dealt with this matter. Even in one of the matter, Vineet Goenka's matter, the Honorable Supreme Court has said that the right to privacy is not a fundamental right, and those who are doing their business or giving their platform to be used by the citizens of this country, they are amenable to the law. And law has to be fair and reasonable. Where is the wrong in it? So that is what the Delhi High Court has also acknowledged, the complexity of the situation. Honorable High Court says that the privacy rights were not absolute and somewhere balance has to be done. And that is what is happening.
But Mr. Dubey, hear me out. WhatsApp says that they cannot end their end-to-end inscriptions because if the government of India doesn't have, access to the messages that we write on our WhatsApp, neither does WhatsApp. So it's not like WhatsApp is privy to them. And it's deliberately blocking the government of India from accessing those messages. ठीक है, सबसे पहले तो वो बात है. Secondly, you have to change your entire app, your entire configuration, not just here in India, but across the world to adhere to what the government of India is saying. Why will any company do that? Please tell me that. And is it not an unreasonable ask by the government of India? That to catch one person, you are troubling 50 crore other Indians and invading their privacy?
Why any government or any agency, if it has a reason to believe that there is a fake news or because of the message which is being circulated by a platform, which is saying, citing the example of end-to-end encryption, and that is leading to any of the violation of the law, cannot access to that. Even none of the countries, even if you talk about the Constituent Assembly debate, let's say where from the rights have come. Rights have come from the Constitution. Where from the Constitution has got right. Constitution has got right from the Constitution. Yes. So,
Nikhil wants to respond to that, and then I'll come to Tehseen. Nikhil, go ahead, please.
Look, if you want to get into technicalities, the IT rules themselves are illegal and they're being challenged both by news organizations as well as WhatsApp because they are based on due diligence requirements under Section 69A of the IT Act. And under due diligence requirements, you can't ask someone to basically bring traceability. That's an action. It's not a due diligence requirement. So the rules themselves are illegal. Secondly, I think Mr. Dubey forgot to mention the 2 other restrictions that the Supreme Court has placed. That the violation of privacy has to be not just backed by law, and it also has to be necessary and proportionate. Violating the privacy of all citizens by forcing the removal of end-to-end encryption is not proportionate. And guess what? The government of India knew this. This went into submissions from a bunch of civil society folks, including us, in 2019, the rules came out in 2021. They said, despite the rule, despite these contentions being placed before the government, they decided to say my way or the highway, and but they brought these rules in. So let's be very realistic, right? India has a fundamental right to privacy, and it went to a 9-judge bench because the government of India, this government, opposed the right to privacy as a fundamental right. They lost that case. They do not believe in privacy. They want to break the privacy for every citizen, every viewer who's watching this. Remember, all your SMSs can be surveilled by the government. All your phone calls can be surveilled by the government. In 2019, it was found that 3,000 surveillance orders per month are being issued. Every single politician must be under regular surveillance for their calls today. Every journalist might be under surveillance. They want to bring the same thing to WhatsApp. People move to WhatsApp because it's more private, it is more secure. So if this needs to go to the Supreme Court, because basically we don't have surveillance reform in this country. You want to take away the privacy rights of individuals, but you don't want to even define national security in law. National security is not defined. The security, our intelligence agencies are operating under an ordinance. There is no government oversight. There's no parliamentary oversight over the security agencies. They surveil whoever they want, whenever they want. You don't have a problem with that kind of surveillance taking place in this country. But guess what? You want to remove the privacy of every single individual. I mean, what nonsense is this?
Okay, so you're saying essentially you're telling me this is not about catching that Khalistani terrorist or tracing that Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist. It is actually about snooping on all of us who use WhatsApp.
Absolutely.
Because that's what you're telling me, right?
Absolutely. That's what they want to do.
Okay.